Hey guys, welcome to the Titanium Vault. I'm your host, RJ Bates III. And today's episode is about how to stay poised while being in the trenches. What I mean by that is, no, I'm not talking about war or anything like that. I'm just talking about the daily grind that we have to battle through as entrepreneurs, real estate investors, just overall as business owners, right? This is the life that we've chosen. And at times it can be very difficult. And I've been very outspoken about this over the course of my entrepreneur journey, that this is not easy. And I have so much more respect for people that during my childhood and teenage years and early adulthood that I saw as entrepreneurs. I have so much more respect for them now, knowing what they had to go through as business owners. It's very easy for us to sit here and regularly talk about our successes, but a lot of times there's many failures and a lot of struggles that we have to go through to maintain our businesses. And what's crazy about this is, as many of you know, we just had our first event here, the Titanium Crucible, at our office. And we're now cold calling lists that we have of other investors, asking them if they would want to attend the next Titanium Crucible, which, by the way, is on April 22nd and 23rd. If you're interested, visit the titaniumcrucible.com. However, the sad part about this is many investors that we've cold called are telling us, I'm no longer a real estate investor. I'm no longer an entrepreneur. I have a different job now. I had to go get a job. And it makes you grateful for the position that you are in as an entrepreneur and the fact that we're able to still be here and still have our doors open, whether or not we've had struggles or not. So I want to talk to you today about how do you stay poised during those difficult times, during those struggles, and just on a day-to-day basis. How do you stay with a positive mindset? And the first step in that is I kind of touched on it briefly there at the beginning, is be grateful for the opportunity that's in front of you, because this is the opportunity that you basically asked for, right? We asked for this pressure to be put on us. We no longer wanted someone else to be our boss. We wanted to become the boss. We wanted to become the decision maker. And along with that comes this pressure, comes the grind that we have every single day. So first and foremost, be grateful that you're in the position to deal with whatever issues are in front of you. Okay. Second, as the leader of your organization, it is vital that you realize nothing is so big, so important today for you to lose your composure. Sit there and ask yourself, is what I'm stressed out about, is what I'm struggling with today, going to be something that's so important 6-7 years from now? I'll remember this moment. In all reality, very few moments that feel like they're just astronomically huge at the time are so important you're going to remember it that far down the road. I remember when we first became a wholesaler, there was times where our buyers needed extensions. We thought closings were going to fall out of escrow. We thought we were going to lose the assignment fee that was coming to us. And it felt like it was such a monumental moment in our business. But now looking back at it, there's very few of those closings that I can remember. There's very few of those moments that I can even remember what the actual scenario was that I was so stressed out about. But I literally remember at times feeling as if like my chest was caving in, like I couldn't breathe, and just, oh my, if we don't get this deal closed, are we going to be able to survive this moment? And that was because I was immature as a business owner. I hadn't been through the scenarios enough. Now, when scenarios come up where we need to ask the seller for an extension, it's not a stressful moment. It's just a very simple conversation and being honest and transparent with why we need what we need to be able to perform. And very rarely is there drama surrounding the scenario. So remind yourself when you feel like there's this huge burden on you, this monumental moment in your business's history, that very rarely is it actually one of those moments. It's probably something that you're not going to remember, much less 6-7 years from now, 60 to 90 days from now. Okay, so keep that in mind as well. Other aspects of this is, as entrepreneurs, we have the responsibility to lead not only ourselves, but our teams. Even if you're a solopreneur, you have to look at the situation as if you have a team, because your family is, what's the best way I can put this? Relying on you to perform. We throw around words like creating financial freedom, generational wealth, changing our family tree. When we're in the trenches, that's what we're doing. That's us actually taking those steps. Who are some of the best athletes out there, right? The Tom Brady's, the Michael Jordans, the Tiger Woods, the Wayne Gretzky's. We talked about them a couple episodes ago, about how they had focused habits. They also had amazing composure during some of the most stressful times. And when you actually think about it, as a real estate investor specifically, if that's what we're doing, very rarely are there those key moments. Maybe if it's talking to a seller on what could potentially be a big deal, or when you're trying to dispo a deal to a buyer, maybe those are those key moments. But again, you should be confident in what you're doing, right? Be confident in how you have those conversations with seller, how you're solving their problem. And then the property that you're providing to the buyer, if that's the stressful moment, your composure should just come from the fact that you're confident within your numbers and you're confident within the product that you're providing to them, because they want it. The motivated seller wants to buy or sell the property to you, and the cash buyer wants to buy a good deal from you. So if you're confident in your ability to do both of those things, it shouldn't really be stressful. It should be easy to stay composed during that, because you're experienced and you know that's what you're providing. Outside of these moments that we have, it's very easy for us to look back as entrepreneurs and say, hey, this is the greatest thing in the world. I would never want to go work for someone else. And then we have these few and far between moments that feel like it's such a grind, right? This episode actually came from one of our good buddies. I'm not going to name him. I don't want to embarrass him, but it was a conversation that Cassie had back and forth. And he was talking about he's never actually satisfied with the results because he expects those results. And I think that's a common trait between majority of entrepreneurs, right? We didn't go into this not expecting to achieve some level of success. We almost knew that was going to happen. And so sometimes we don't stop and look back at what we've achieved and given ourselves credit for those results. So that's another way to stay poised, is sometimes just stop. There's a couple of things that I've done to do this, and I'm sure you've heard me talk about this. If you ever watched any of the 50-day challenge, then you'll know I have a Google map that I literally drop a pin on each property address that we've either purchased or wholesaled or flipped or whatever it is. I drop a pin on it. About once a week, I go look at the map. And then at first, it was kind of silly. there was only a handful of pins on there. But as we started getting more, and we were only in DFW when I started this, it started making me realize, wow, look at that. We've done a lot of properties in DFW. We could almost drive less than 5 minutes from each pin. You know, every time we would leave, it'd only take 5 minutes to get to another pin. Then before long, all of DFW just had Titanium Investments logos all over it. And then we started virtual wholesaling in other locations. And when there were stressful moments, when I would look at that, that was a moment of realization that, hey, we're so much bigger than this one moment. Look how many lives that we've changed. This isn't me bragging about it. This is just me looking back and saying, this one deal is not going to make or break Titanium Investments, because look at what we've been able to do over here. Look at how many lives we've impacted. And now, because we've expanded to locations like Alaska and Hawaii, we're so far away that it literally has to show the entire world when I go onto Google Maps. And it makes me realize we're literally changing lives across the world. Create some kind of moment like that for yourself where you can just stop and almost kind of bask in your own glory. Yeah, maybe it sounds silly, but it makes you feel pretty good about yourself. And if that's what you need to go back into the trenches and deal with those stressful situations, because I'm not saying you just have to ignore them. You still have to deal with those situations. But sometimes it's a lot easier to deal with those situations when you go in with a clear head and a positive mindset about, we as a company are bigger than this one issue. And then as far as always wanting to achieve more than what you've achieved, you should be grateful that you have that. That's what's going to make you an amazing entrepreneur, is that you're not going to be satisfied with today's results because you're moving the bar. The bar now moves up. I bench press 300. Now I want to bench press 315. That's what we do as entrepreneurs. That's what makes us great. Embrace that about yourself. But every now and then, look back at where you were 6 months, 12 months ago, and look at where you are today and be grateful for that growth. And if there's not growth, and you look back at it and you see, hey, there's too many failures in between there, stop and think about how you can learn from those failures. These are some of the ways that I've been able to deal with what I consider pretty stressful situations. We've been told by hard money lenders that we're going to foreclose on you. You're past your term. We're not going to extend this loan. If you don't sell the property right now, we're going to foreclose on you. That's a stressful situation, to the point where it felt like the world was crashing down on me, until I realized we can solve this problem. And we did. Due to having great partners and great relationships with other people, we were able to solve those problems. But sitting down and wallowing within the stress was not the solution. Slowing down and realizing we can solve this problem. This problem will not beat me today. I've come way too far for one simple issue like this to be what's going to kill us. And then just looking at what we've been able to do, as silly as it sounds, sometimes just sitting there and just looking at it for 5-10 minutes, just saying, look at this. I've been able to accomplish that. This one thing won't stop me. Try it. It might work for you. If it doesn't, I'm sorry. Maybe go listen to a different podcast about this, but this is what I do. This is how it works for me. And very rarely do I get stressed out during these moments. In fact, I'm probably too calm during these moments now, because I'm so confident that we're going to work our way through each and every situation. And so far, I think we've done a pretty decent job of that. Hopefully this helps you guys. To the person who requested this episode, I hope this gave you insight and hopefully a solution to whatever it is you're going through within your business. I hope I nailed the topic as best as I possibly could. If you're listening on iTunes, make sure you give us a 5-star review. Remember, 5 stars only. That's all I accept. And if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you're subscribed. Give us a thumbs up. We'll see you guys next week. Thank you.